complement.
So, the complement, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt, but I want to interrupt you. The complement is what is not included in the question, like the leftovers.
Yes.
Okay.
You can look at that way. Yes. The complement is what is the leftover of whatever you have. Yes. So the other thing is the concept of the probability is, if you take the complement event plus the event, if you take this and you add on that side, it has to be equal to 100%. Okay. If you take the complement, which is the leftover, plus what you have, if you add them up, it has to be equal to the total, which is equal to 100%. You know, that's just the algebraic way, right? The complement, which is, think in terms of a whole pencil, right? If you know that you have this much, what is the leftover? If you take the two and put them together, you have a whole pencil, right? So again, that's the complement of the event. Very, you know, hopefully easy to digest, hopefully. Question with the complement of this event here. So here comes the most difficult thing, if not, if you saw something difficult already, this is probably the hardest thing in 4.2. And on, it's hard in the way that you guys kind of analyze it. One way is now they kind of change the script. Instead of just ask you for a simple event like we have over here, what is the problem of not a junior, right? What is the problem of not a senior or something in that, not an A student? They change it and they say, well, find the complement of this event in terms of some grouping of the event, right? So let's say that they have this thing here. And again, I think on Connect Math, you have a few of this thing here, which is, let's say that I have a sample of 60 cell phone battery. And they say, find the complement of the event that exactly 24 of the battery were defective, meaning they are not working, right? So what does it mean exactly 24? So my event is this. My event is I want to know exactly 24 battery is defective. Now, what is the complement of that? So one thing about math is, you know, let me ask you, what is included in this what is included in this event? Do you agree that my 24 is somewhere here? You know, let's imagine that 0 to 60, this is, you know, I have from 0 defected all the way to, well, not 0 defect. I have 0 battery up to 60 battery, right? So I have a collection of 60 battery here. And 24 battery is somewhere here. Exactly 24, meaning, do you agree that exactly 24 is at this exact number? And that's the only number we're looking for is exactly 24, right? So what is the complement of exactly 24? Well, anything else will complement this thing here. Meaning, again, the complement of exactly will be the number of battery that is not equal to 24, right? So again, just imagine that X is equal to 24. What is the leftover? The leftover, if X is equal to 24, the leftover will be X is not equal to 24. Everything else, right? Is again, one thing is not 36 because we're not taking the because of the warden is exactly, again, it's not that you go in and you select one item. One thing about this event here is they not, this is not the probability, ladies and gentlemen. This right here is not probability. If it's a probability, if they say, okay, if I have 24 defective item out of the 60 defective item, what is the probability of me? What is the probability or what is the leftover? Then again, you take 60 minus and you get the leftover. This thing here, they tell you is basically, you have this, don't worry about the 60. One thing about the 60 is they have to have some total. They will give you some total. This total is kind of, don't worry about this thing here. You can just disregard this thing here. They just want to give you the limitation of the item you have, which is the limitation of item is 60. Okay. And again, the item we're looking for here is not the probability. They're not asking for a probability here. They ask you is, if I have exactly 24 of this battery that is broken, what would be the complement of this thing here? What would be the complementary of this item? So the complementary or the complement of this item is if you have exactly, the word exactly meaning exact 24, what is outside of that 24? Well, anything else is not exactly 24, right? Let's say if we have 12 defective battery, is that exact 24? No, right? So as long as it's kind of, if you took Math 120, kind of like a disproof or the negation of the statement, right? How can you make this statement false? Let's say exactly 24 is true. How can you make this exactly statement false? Well, as long as it's not equal to 24, then the statement is false. So again, if you took Math 120, think in terms of the negation, right? Think in terms of the opposite in the sense of that. Okay, so it's again, I know you kind of say, wait, if I have a total, why is not using this? This over here is the probability. This over here, they're not asking you for probability. They just ask you for the complement of a given event. The event here is exactly 24.
One question.
Yes.
So wouldn't it be the complementary of 24? Isn't it 60 subtract 24? Wouldn't that be it?
No. Again, how do I actually? We
So
are not
anything that's not 24. So, but it
not
doesn't.
the number 24.
Anything that's not 24.
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, again, this because of the word exactly. One thing about this is the keyword here is exactly, meaning again, whatever this thing here, you want to have exact 24. That's it. Nothing else, just 24, right? And because it's just 24, if for instance, if in this 60 battery and one of them is defected, is that include in this event exactly 24 defected? No, right? If it's 5 battery is defected, it's not in the event that exactly 24 defected.
So the answer to A is the number of defected battery.
The number
24.
The number of defective battery that is not equal to 24.
That's
any other number that is not 24 is the complement of exactly 24. Is that making sense?
Yeah, it's kind of, I think if I practice, I'll understand it even more. But I know what you're saying. As long as it's not, you can't see the total number. That's not what you're basing it on. It's not like a previous question.
Right.
So when we're saying exactly, you have to just, it's any number that's not 24, which is the answer to this specific question.
Right.
Okay.
So, no. One way to think is like think in terms of the opposite. Well, not the opposite. The next problem is the opposite, but think in terms that because of the word exactly is very restricted, right? Because of the word exactly, meaning again, I cannot have anything else except 24. That's it. That's my restriction is in whatever this number is. This number can be 600, can be 6,000. Doesn't matter the total, right? Doesn't matter the total. I don't care about the total. I care about this number right here, this wording right here. Because it's exactly 24, meaning again, as long as it's not 24, then that fit the description or it's the complement of this thing here. Okay, so again, is that well, see if you can do the homework and then let's take a look at the other 3 event. The other 3 event is what happened if they ask you at least, right? This is the word in terms of this thing here is the keyword is at least. What does it mean at least 24? Again, remember at least is a smallest number go all the way to the maximum number, right? At least. So one thing I want to ask you guys, and later on you will see this word at least a lot. What does it mean at least? So the key thing is, do we include the 24 with it? Right. That's the one thing that you want to ask yourself is the word at least. Do I include this endpoint? Do you agree that because at least 24 meaning as long as it's 24 or more, as long as it's 24 or more, is fit the description at least 24. Right. So again, at least 24 meaning 24 and up. Either 24 or 25 or 26 or 27 or 28 or all the way up to 60 because I only have 60. Agree? So again, because of this word at least, what is the complement of that? So here comes the thing. Because that this is the at least 24, meaning this group is in the description at least 24. What is the complement of at least 24? Well, the complement of at least 24 is fewer than 24. I do not include the 24 because the 24 is in this group. You see the 24 is in this blue line. I include the 24, go all the way up to 60. Now, what is the complement of that, which is what is the leftover? So now in this case, what's the leftover, right? You say, wait a minute, Mr. Tran, you just told me what is not. So again, just think in terms of this number line, right? Last time this right here, I only include the number 24. Everything else is the complement of the 24. Everybody see that for A. The green line, my 24, I only include one number 24. Everything else is the outside of 24. So again, as long as it's not equal to 24, it's the complement of 24. Now, number B, at least 24 tell me that, again, start from 24, go all the way up to your maximum number. But also you have to include the 24. So again, the complement of this thing here will be, you can say 23 and less, but instead of say 23 and less, we say fewer than 24. Fewer than 24, meaning that, again, we don't include 24, we just include the 23, the 22, the 21, the 20, the 19, so on until to the 0. Okay, so
basically the opposite of what it's basically the opposite of what they're asking, what they're stating. They just want you to give the opposite number when it's anything but that number.
Yes.
But the 24 and the at least 24 is before that.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I get it.
So again, like I say, the word at least, later on you will see when we get to chapter 5, chapter 6, chapter 7, the word at least meaning that minimum value all the way to the maximum. Okay. That small, at least this height, meaning you are either this height or go and beyond, right? At least meaning the smallest number go all the way to the maximum number. And similarly, they ask you more than, and again, more than 24. And you say, well, what does it mean more than 24? Again, more than 24 is not the same as at least 24. Reminder, again, this is one thing is, do we include the endpoint? Do we include the 24? In this case, more than 24, we do not include the 24. 24 is right here. More than 24 have to be something here, right? The 25, the 26, the 27, and beyond. So again, looking at this thing here, more than 24, we do not include the 24. That's the difference between at least versus more than. More than meaning, again, 25, 26, and beyond, which is, again, what would be the complement, what would be the leftover? The leftover will be 24 or fewer, right? So again, basically to fill up this whole number line, right? Remember your complement and your event and your complement you put together is equal to the whole thing, right? So again, for exact, we only include one number. For at least, we include the whole list of number, and for more than, we include the whole list number with the exception of the endpoint. So because with the exception of endpoint, to include this, we have to say, again, this line is like close to here. I did not want to put very close that you think that we include the 24, so I put a gap there. Okay, but again, 24 or fewer, which is, again, that's the other side of the spectrum, right? And again, lastly, which is fewer than 24. What is fewer than 24? Do you agree that fewer than 24 will be from here to the back, from here to the left side? So what will be the complement of this thing here? The complement of fewer than will be at least 24. Or you can say 24 or more if you want to. 24 or more is the same as at least 24. Okay, so again, the idea of this complement is because of this word and because of this including the structure or including the group of item, they want to, no, this thing here is not really fitting with the probability item. It's more of the terminology of the word exact, at least, more than, or fewer than. They want you introduced here to you guys so that when we get to chapter 5 and chapter 6, when you see this word again, you will have to know, do we include the endpoint or do we exclude the endpoint? And that's one of the idea of this thing is again, exactly, that's it. That's the only number you have. Exactly, there's nothing else, right? Exactly meaning you can only choose 24. There's no other number you can choose. At least meaning you can choose 24, 25, 26, all the way to the maximum number. More than you cannot choose 24, you have to choose 25, 26, 27, and beyond. And again, fewer than, you don't include the 24, you include the 23, anything beyond, less than 24. Okay, so again, the main concept of this thing here is for you guys to recognize the wording, so that you have to know at the endpoint, do we include or exclude the endpoint? That's one of the goal. Question. I wasn't wrong, right? Just kidding. And again, no, I use the number line. I feel that the number line is the best way to explain when do we use the endpoint and when you exclude the endpoint. But the idea here is basically the remaining item, the remaining item that you did not include in your event. Right?
I have a question, Mr. Tran.
Yes.
So for these specific types of problems, the answers is always going to be like a sentence like that with the number in it.
Yeah.
And basically deciding whether to include that number or exclude it.
Yes. Yes. Again, this one here, like as you can see, they did not ask you to find the probability of the complement, right? They did not ask you to find the probability of not something, right? We don't have any p, like if they have the probability of exactly, then you give them the decimal, right? If they put p open parenthesis exactly 24 close the parenthesis, then you give them the decimal because they ask you for probability. This one here, the example 3 do not ask you for probability. They just ask you, we have an event, I have this, what is the complement of it, right? So I have this, what is the leftover, what's the difference or in terms of that.
Can you just briefly go through them again? You said the A doesn't include the 24.
No, A is only include 24.
Oh, only.
Exactly 24, meaning again, there's no other number except 24, right? Okay. So again, the word exactly meaning you only include 24. That's it. There's no other number in it. So the complement of that, meaning everything else except 24, the complement of exactly 24.
And then for B, you said it fewer than 24.
At least 24, meaning you include the 24.
Okay, right.
You include the 24 and up. It's basically 24 and up, right? Let's say at least 21 to enter the casino, right? Mm-hmm. Meaning again, you have to be 21 years old and up, right? 21 years old and 22, and again, it's not just 21, right? If they say exactly 21 years old to enter the casino, then again, no one else except the 21 years old, right? If they say exactly 21, meaning again, I cannot enter the casino. I'm way past that, right? But if they say at least 21, which is that's where they say at least 21, meaning 21 and up, right? Meaning you include the 21 in it.
Right? And then same thing for C, it includes the number in it or fewer.
No. For C, the event is you don't include 24. Right, more than you don't include 24. So because more than you don't include 24, so your answer you include the 24. Is that make sense? Your original problem does not include the 24. So because your original problem does not include the 24, in your answer you have to include the 24. If you say 23 and less, where the 24 go? If 24 is not on this side and 24 is not on that side, you left out the 24. So again, you have to include every single item. So if it's more than 24, the answer, again, if it's more than 24, you don't include the 24. So in your answer, you have to include the 24.
And then for D, you don't include the 24?
Yes, you don't include the 24 in the original problem, right? You don't include the 24 in your original problem, so therefore you have to include it in your answer.
Okay, I'm gonna be up late with this one. Thank you.
Any question here? Well, right on extra 2 minutes. Any question? Let me look at the chat.